Great morning. Great morning. You guys come on in. Come on in. Happy Saturday. Happy Sabbath. Come on in. Come on in. It is a beautiful day, even though it's a little nippy here. It's still a beautiful day. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You guys come on in. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. Great day, great day, great day. Throughout the broadcast, remember, you can always give stars. April, listen, we got to fix that, girl. We got to fix that, okay? We got to fix that. You all go ahead, share the broadcast, Let me know when you've shared, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with this word. Created a little controversy yesterday, and I want to talk about this. Wow. I don't know what it is, April. I don't know what it is. We'll have to try to figure it out. So listen, you guys, yesterday I was in a group and a question was asked about the impact of Kanye's choices and the things that he's done, especially the latest situation with him making some anti-Semitic remarks, and all of these brands and people and companies disconnecting from him. And so it was talking about his school. You know, he has a school, and the school, they sent out an email that they were going to be shutting down. And apparently the parents all got together and they were like, no, we don't want it to shut down. So they have decided to stay open, right? So the question was about his branding and the impact of his decisions on his brand. Hold on, y'all. Let me put on my do not disturb. Okay. So the question was about his branding and, you know, has he ruined things with his remarks, his antics, all of that. So I normally don't respond to stuff like that because I know it's going to generate a lot of controversy. So, you know, I wasn't going to say anything. And then God began to speak. Now, listen, what you got to understand about this situation for me is I'm not a Kanye fan. Literally, I have felt like Kanye is crazy. You know, like he be doing the most. Like, what in the world, Kanye? I need you to get your life. And God began to speak. God began to say, people don't understand, but I'm using him. And I was like, you what? I'm using him. Now, I know for, you know, many people, they can't imagine God using Kanye, even though he is flawed, even though he has some mental health challenges. But I'm going to say this too. Most prophets and great influencers experience challenges with their mental health for a number of reasons, okay? I'm just saying it's real, okay? When you look at a lot of the comedians, they struggle with depression. See, there are certain weights that when people carry them and they don't fit within the paradigm, that create challenges. You got to try to figure that out. You got to try to navigate a world where you're seeing and hearing things that other people are not necessarily seeing and hearing, and it seems as though you're all alone. Listen, I get it. See, I understand that when it comes to mental health, that sometimes the weight of our assignment makes us particularly vulnerable to challenges. The weight of our assignment makes us particularly vulnerable to those challenges because we're not going to make sense to the world. People are going to think we're crazy. When God tells us to do something, it's not going to look like everybody else may think it should look. All I'm going to say is this: God uses who he chooses. God uses who he chooses. I know there are people, I'm sure, who say, well, God couldn't use Dr. V because she's been married 5 times. Well, you can say what you want to, but I know what my daddy does. So I've learned to not discount people and disqualify people because of our perception of those people. Now, I will admit, I was one of them. I get it. I hear what y'all are saying when y'all say he's got mental health challenges and he needs to get some help. And I get it. I get it. And I'm not saying that he doesn't need some help. But what I'm saying is, regardless, God is using that man. Now, y'all can like it, not like it, say, oh, God wouldn't have anybody speak against the Jews, his people. Well, first of all, I'm going to piss some of y'all off right now because the people that we call the Jews are not the original Jews. Y'all do with it what you want to. But the people we call Jews are not the original Jews. I'm going to leave that right there. That's a lesson for another day. Y'all running around here worried about what he's saying about these people who are running Hollywood and news media. Them ain't his original God's people. Them is not God's original people. They're not. Y'all think what you want, say what you want. But if you really want to get serious about it, go study. If you study to show yourself approved, you will clearly come to the conclusion that the people that we call Jews today are hybrid people. Okay, y'all ain't ready for that. I know. Because y'all don't want to deal with the fact that Jesus don't look the way that we have been convinced that he looks, like Michelangelo's drunk uncle. That's our idea of what Jesus looks like. And that is not. There is only one race of people from which all other races can derive, and that is black people. Y'all listen, don't read. Don't go back to Newsweek and Time and see the articles where they talk about the origins of man, the oldest living skeletons. Y'all don't want to hear that because it messes up your paradigm. That's why people like Kanye look crazy. That's why prophets look crazy. That's why those who are tapped into the deeper realm spiritually look crazy, because your minds can't comprehend it. You've been so used to having your mind in this little box that you were taught at school. My son and I were having a conversation about this. Y'all, I want y'all to stay with me. My son and I were having a conversation about this. When my son was in maybe second grade, maybe about third grade, they had a test. And on the test, it asked about Columbus. Now, his mama is a college graduate. I was teaching college at the time, working on my PhD, working on my master's and my PhD. So they start talking about Columbus discovered America. What? How do you discover a land where there are already people? So me, having studied Black history, African history, having gone back to our roots, I'm like, son, listen, America was here with people already here, living life, growing food, having animals, cooking, with a deeper level of knowledge. Understand, it didn't look like the knowledge that they brought from Spain, but they had a deeper level of knowledge, particularly as it relates to this realm. Look, they were already here. So my son says, my mama said Columbus didn't discover America. He was lost. I get a note from the teacher. On the test, he puts Columbus was lost. She marks it wrong. So now I got to go to the school. So I'm having this conversation, and I said, now listen, how do you discover a place where there are already people? She said, man, I know, but this is the answer that the book has. So I had to have a conversation with my son, and this is what the conversation looked like. Said, listen, you know the truth. I know the truth. Put the answer that they want you to put on that paper so you can get your grade. Get through school, right? So my son, because I studied Black history, was privy to a lot of knowledge that his peers were not, which meant that he was in the classroom while they were instilling lies into his head, knowing the truth, and then having to tell the lie in order to get through, but still knowing the truth. That's a conflict. It creates cognitive dissonance. So we talked about this yesterday. And he was like, I was like, son, you remember when you were in school and you told the people that Columbus didn't discover America? He said, yeah, mama. He said, all my life in school, like, I just knew that I had to sit in the class and tell the people what they wanted me to say, even though it wasn't the truth. And that's why I hate American history now, because they don't tell the truth. They lie. It's built on a foundation of lies that once truth is revealed, upsets the apple cart and shakes everything up. Shakes it up. See, racism requires, listen to me, racism, in order for it to be effective, requires that the oppressed not know their history and not know their identity. Once you know your identity, they can't get you with the bullish. They can't get you with it. See, that's why nobody can tell me I can't do math or science. We originated that stuff. Do you understand? And originated with an understanding that everything was connected. Every single thing. All subjects are connected. You can't talk about math and science without dealing with spirituality. You can't talk about spirituality without dealing with math and science and dealing with art and communication. You can't do it. You can't do it. But the Western notion of knowledge is piecemealed from the true knowledge, and so it's fragmented. So it's all broken up into pieces, and we get all of these contradictions. Everything is either or. We come from a culture and a worldview where it was this and that, not either this or that. It was this and that. See, you can't have good without evil. We understand that they go together. They both exist. They coexist. And them coexisting does not mean that that is something that can't happen. Y'all listen. I didn't come on here to talk about all that, but it's important for you to understand. See, truth like that looks crazy. I remember when my aunt told me that Jesus was not a white man. I said, oh! When she began to introduce me to biblical numerology, when she began to break some things down to me that just totally messed with my paradigm and my understanding of church, of Jesus, of God, like all of a sudden, my whole world was shifted and flipped upside down. But she told the truth, had documentation, went to the Bible. We began to break some things down. Have you ever noticed how often African countries are mentioned in the Bible? Pay attention. That's a whole nother class, and many people are not ready for it. So I taught a class, because I'm gonna bring it all together. I'm gonna tie it up for you. I taught a class called "The Impact of Racism on White America." The Impact of Racism on White America, and I used a book by that name. And I began to talk about how racism had convinced white people and had white people in greater bondage than it had us in. Because now they got to be better than everybody Black. They've got to, not only do they have to be better, they've got to be better, and they've got to keep other races down in order for them to maintain their status. Okay? So look, I discovered that racism in and of itself, for a person who says that they love God, is an extreme conflict. An extreme conflict. Because on the one hand, you're saying that you love God and God's people. On the other hand, you're saying that these people are somehow less than. They don't go together. Anytime people experience cognitive dissonance, they're either going to change what they believe or they're going to change what they do. Either they're going to change what they believe or they're going to change what they do. So the only way, listen to me, the only way white people could maintain their sanity with racism is they had to convince themselves that Black people are not human, that we are subhuman, that we are an inferior species, in order to justify the tragedies and the atrocities inflicted upon people of African descent throughout the world. This thing is deeper than the United States of America. This is throughout the world. The only way that African people could justify selling their own people into enslavement, right, was they had to convince themselves that somehow those people deserved that. Otherwise, how do you do that? You can't. Like, it creates a major conflict. All right. All of this to say this: God uses who he chooses. You can't tell God who to use and who not to use, and because it doesn't fit your theological framework and because he doesn't fit your paradigm. I don't know who people think they are, that they know everything, because you don't, clearly. When I look at some of the comments that people make, I'm like, these people don't even have a clue. Do you even really know who you are? Do you really even know that we are spirits having a human experience in a body? We're spirits in a body. This body serves a purpose, that it's bigger than what you know. It's bigger than what the church has taught you. It's bigger than what's in the 66 books in the canonized Bible. It's bigger than all that. And if you think that those 66 books encapsulate all of who God is and what God is doing, you are sorely deceived. Sorely deceived. People think God stopped talking when they stopped writing. What the what? I don't know who this God is y'all serve. He's not my God. My God still speaks, still moves, still is present. How do you say that God is omnipresent, which means everywhere, omnipotent, which means all powerful, and omniscient, which means all knowing, and then say, okay, yeah, but like, he don't still talk to people right now? Dude, you sound stupid. I'm not saying you are stupid. I'm saying you sound stupid. Okay? You sound stupid. Okay? Now, I know you're not stupid, but I'm telling you how you sound when you limit God to our limited knowledge. And given that we're only really using the part of our brain that's the reptilian part, which is the survival part. Listen, listen, all of that is about survive. We just got to survive. This is what you do to survive. This is what you do to survive. So it's a lot of people out there surviving, but not thriving, because to thrive, you got to break out of frameworks. You got to break out of paradigms. You got to break out of the boxes that society has put us in. And you can say what you want to about Kanye. Ye has broken out of the boxes. Now, to the people still in the box, the people who want to take the pill that keeps you comatose, thinking that what you see is the reality of what is happening in the world, listen, that looks real crazy. So I get it. I just am not one of those people. And because I understand the power of disruption, that you only get change when there's disruption. Freedom comes with disruption. Think about it. During slavery, people look at the movie that I couldn't have lived back then. Right? Because they say, I would have did this and I would have did this. You lying. Half the people that be taught. No, let me not even say half. I'm being extreme. 90% of the people who say that they would have been running away when they were slaves are lying. 90% or more. 90% or more who say that if I lived during slavery, I would have been running away. Lies. You lying. You ain't even being real with yourself. And you know how I know? You won't even stand up against oppression today. How do you think you was going to survive back then and do that? You wasn't. You was going to go ahead and do what Master said. Now, listen, this is the difference between me and those people, okay? Listen, I could have survived back then. Yep. I could have survived. It wouldn't have been easy. But listen, I would have taken one for the team. I would have been in the big house. I would have been master's mistress. Listen, I would have gotten all the information and access to everything that I could get access to. And I'm a smart Negro. So listen, I'm going to take it and I'm going to slide it to the people in the field, and we're going to plot a whole rebellion while I'm sleeping with massa. Think I wouldn't? Listen to me, I'm telling you. But see, in our minds, we are so limited in our understanding of what it takes to sometimes win a war that we're like, oh no, I wouldn't have done that. I would listen. He wouldn't have been beating me to get it. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give it to you real good. And I'm just going to ask for some things in return. We've got to understand that this war that we're engaged in, and we are engaged in a war, whether you are aware that there's a war going on or not. Listen, I'm talking about spiritually and naturally. There's a war going on, right? So there's the war that we see, okay, which is the war that exists over good and evil manifested in the earth, right? And then there's the spiritual war that's going on that we often cannot see, but most people can't see, so you don't understand. Listen, what I know about God is when he says that he uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, he does just that. See, it's the people who are disruptors that are some of the wealthiest people in the world. They're not wealthy because they were born into wealth. They're wealthy because they got an idea. Where did that idea come from, y'all? It came from God. They got an idea. They got a God idea. God said something. Yesterday, God was talking to me about this whole thing with Kanye and some of the financial implications of these decisions that these brands and these people are making. See, sometimes we only see the surface. Sight has levels. There's levels to sight, right? There's what you see with your natural eye. There's insight, right? Insight is a wisdom, an illumination that's deeper than what you see with your natural eye. There's hindsight. Hindsight is your ability to see what was going on. Now, listen, a lot of people gonna catch this in hindsight. I ain't even mad. I don't expect most people to get what I posted. I don't expect most people to understand this perspective. Why? Most people are sheep. Most people are followers. So when you are a follower, when you are a sheep and your eyes are not open to certain things, then you gonna go with the narrative that's given. You're gonna go with the narrative that's presented the most times, and that's the most dramatic and all of that. And y'all understand, I'm not saying that Kanye does not have some mental health issues. I'm not saying that at all. Not at all. What I'm saying is, this omniscient God, all-knowing, omnipotent, and omnipresent, knew everything that Kanye was going to go through, gave him a gift and began speaking to him when he was a child, deposited some things in him that would be activated later in his life by a series of events that would transpire in his life. And now what you're seeing is the breaking of some paradigms. Now, y'all might not get it now, but you'll get it later. But what I will tell you is this: God uses who he chooses. You don't get to say who is going to be used by God, or who's able to be used by God, or qualified to be used by God, or even being used by God. You don't get to say, oh, he's not, oh, that's not God. Listen, I'm telling y'all something. Y'all church folks miss me with the lies that you believed and that you spew and that you use to hold people hostage to stuff that you don't even believe. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, and this is some people gonna be mad at me, but I don't care. Be mad at me, because what I'm gonna tell you is the truth. Having taught at a seminary, listen to me, having taught at a seminary, having been around a lot of preachers and pastors, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of them preach one thing, even though they know it's not the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The conversations are very different. And the conversations include what the people are able to handle. The people can't handle this. You can't tell the people this. So my question to you is this: When are you, and I'm talking about you, I'm not talking about everybody else right now, but I'm talking about you. When are you going to take time to talk to God, listen to God, study the word, and let God talk to you? Not just about his word in the 66 books, but his word and what he's doing right now in the earth. Now, I know everybody won't have the same level of insight, but I believe all of us can get some insight. But it requires us to move beyond the surface. And the truth of the matter is, moving beyond the surface is uncomfortable for us. As I look in hindsight, listen to me, as I look in hindsight, there are moves that God has made that people said weren't God, but were God, because God was trying to do something. And God even used Pharaoh. Y'all, come on. God can use who he wants to. God uses who he chooses. The question is, will he be able to use you? Because he's chosen you, but will he be able to use you? Will he be able to trust you? Will you be able to go through the things and the people saying that, oh, that ain't God, oh, you crazy, oh, you this, oh, you that? Are you able to endure that? Because not everybody is. But the people who are, like somebody said something about not giving, Kanye a pass or celebrities a pass. Kanye ain't asking for y'all's pass. Kanye don't care nothing about y'all's past. He don't care. You know who cares about the past? You know who cares about approval? People who are still operating in self-sabotaging behaviors, right? Because you want people's approval. So you won't say, you won't do, because you don't want to run the risk of people not approving of you. Well, this is the reality. Listen. Ain't no more self-sabotage over here. So you can think what you want, feel how you want, believe what you want about me. Listen, say that I didn't hear from God. You can say whatever you want. I know I hear from God. And by the way, some of the things that y'all say, I know that you probably wouldn't recognize it because it doesn't fit your paradigm. I don't care about that. That's not my issue. That's not my concern. I'm not out here trying to convince you that I hear from God. Baby, you believe it, don't believe it. It don't matter to me because God is still speaking through me. So your opinion, it's not going to break me. It's not. And I've had to get like that even with people that I love. Listen, you don't believe God, hey, it's your prerogative. You don't want to listen to me? Hey, it's your prerogative. I've learned that everybody has a journey and you've got to let people take their own. Kanye is taking his journey. One thing I can say about him for sure and for certain is he's taking his journey. What are you doing? On the sideline, criticizing and critiquing. Take your journey. People who take their journey get it. That's why him and Elon Musk done hooked up, because both of them are disruptors. Disruptors get other disruptors. It's the people that are sheep that don't get disruptors. Sheep are like, okay, we got to follow the pattern. I ain't never been the one to be able to just follow the pattern because I've always seen beyond the lines. I've always seen beyond the pattern. I've always seen beyond it, which means that to the norm, to ordinary people, I am a threat. And when I say ordinary people, this is not about education. I had somebody say something to me about, having a PhD. Listen, my PhD was something that God had me do. It opened some doors for me. But listen, I know dumb PhDs. But baby, that piece of paper, it's nice. It cost me a lot. I'm still paying for it. Okay. That's not what gives me my authority. My authority comes from the one who created me. And when you understand that your authority comes from the one who created you, you won't be intimidated by people with degrees. You won't feel like you got to impress them with a bunch of big words. You won't feel like you got to go get 12 degrees in order to prove to the world that you have value. That's why when people start talking about, oh, you need to get a degree, and I'm not going back and get another degree. These people ain't getting no more of my money when everything that I need to know I can find on the darn internet. I can find it on the internet. I can find classes. I can find coaches. I can hire coaches. Listen, I'm not paying these people that money for no more degrees to go to these people's schools. I'm not. For a system that I know is flawed and designed to create drones. I'm not. here trying to break the system. Out here trying to break the system. Whether I'm inside it or outside, I'm trying to break the system that has people moving around like sheep, not understanding their own power and their authority. That's what I'm doing. So God uses who he chooses. And if he chooses you, answer the call. I'm appalled and frankly disgusted by the number of people who won't just take their journey, who won't stand. Oh, that sounds so judgmental. But I'm telling y'all the truth. The number of men who can't make decisions, who want to lead but can't lead. Their decision-making process is real flawed and jacked up. They're trying to prove something to the world instead of understanding who they are. See, when you understand power, you don't have to abuse it. When you understand who you are, you don't have to beat other people down to be who you are. I don't have to take anything away from another woman to be me. See, this is why I don't, all this competition amongst women, like, I don't have, baby, listen, let me tell you something. You can't be me, and I can't be you. Listen, it don't take nothing away from me to tell a sister that dress is bad. Girl, you wearing those shoes. Oh, girl, I love that haircut. It takes nothing away from me. It does not devalue me because I know who I am and I understand that I am me. And there's not another me out there. Even my daughter, even though she looks like me, she's not me. We are two very distinct individuals. And there's a reason for that. When you understand your value in and of yourself, you don't have to go engage in all of these comparisons. Oh, well, they're smaller than me, or oh, they're thicker than me, or oh, they got more than me. Their car is nicer than mine. Their house is nicer than mine. They've got designer clothes. If I wear designer, I wear designer. And if I don't, I don't. I've never believed that my clothes make me. Like, I believe that I make the clothes. And I don't care what the trends are. I've always been a trendsetter. I always do things and wear things that are out of the box. That's me. Like, I'm going to challenge the norms, cultural norms, you know, the norms in clothing. I challenge the norms. I never, let me not say never. Let me say this. I've always tried to teach my kids and the people that I come in contact with about their uniqueness. Because when you understand, when you find that thing that makes you unique, that's your superpower. The thing that makes you stand out from the crowd, the thing that makes you different. People are so busy trying to be like somebody that they miss out on the value of their uniqueness. Say what you want to. Kanye's found his uniqueness. He's found his uniqueness, and he's not afraid to walk in it. He wears some stuff that's ugly to me. I ain't finna wear it, okay? But that's his uniqueness. And people pay a lot of money to wear that ugly stuff. See, but when you understand your value, you can walk in your value and have other people wanting what you wear, what you do. They want to do what you do. They want to go where you go because you created the value. Start finding your unique value proposition. My God, see, y'all gonna make me teach some business classes now. Find your unique value proposition. That is the thing that makes you unique and incredibly invaluable. So even in the dating world, listen, when I tell men, listen, I'm not a regular chick. I'm not just regular. I'm not. You're not going to find another me. Now, I may not be for you, and that's fine, but you're not going to find another me. Like, the way I'm wired, the way my mind works, the way listen, I'm just different. Like, I'm different. Like, I understand men. I don't always agree with them, but I understand them. And some have even said that I have some male tendencies. I got some mannish tendencies, okay? But I believe that men have gotten some things right that as women, we misunderstand and misinterpret. So when you understand who you are, you don't have to spend your life trying to convince other people to pick you. If you have a disagreement, you ain't got to hold on to disagreement. Women tend to hold on to stuff, and we gonna make you pay later. Listen, men would rather fight, get it over with, and move on to the next thing. We want to hold on to it forever. People be thinking, they think it's over, it's done. It ain't done. No, it's gonna circle back. Might not circle back today, tomorrow, this month, in the next 6 months, or even this year, but it's gonna come back. And like, that stuff just doesn't make sense to me. Listen, y'all, the best thing that you can do for you, for others, for God, for this world, is to find out who you are, what your purpose is, and walk out your mission. Find your purpose partner, your mission mate. Take over the world, or don't take over the world, whatever it is you're called to do. As for me, I'm called to take over the world. I need that whole pinky in the brain. What are we going to do today, brain, pinky? Take over the world. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, like, I got that take over the world energy, because I just believe that there's so much that we haven't tapped into, and it's time to tap into it. So instead of focusing on whether or not God has chosen someone else, know that he's chosen you, and he wants to use you. But are you available? Are you out for lunch? Closed for business? Just questions. Look, y'all, if you have been trying to figure out what's going on in your life, you may feel stuck. You may feel like you're ready to go to the next level, the next dimension in your life, in your business, in your spiritual walk. Listen, get rid of those saboteurs. It's time to kill the saboteurs. Time to kill the saboteurs, the self-sabotaging behaviors. Find out what yours are. They're deposited when we're children. Find out what yours are. Learn how to kill them, and then learn how to operate in your sage mind, your God mind, your mind that it's expanded, that has infinite possibilities. Find that out, because, baby, that's where you change the game. The only limits on us are those that we place on ourselves. You know, that's from my book, Use Your Buckets, 12 Life Lessons for Success. Okay. But that's true. The only limits are those that you place. Sunday, 5 to 7:30 is part one of No More Sabotage. 5 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time is part one of No More Sabotage, where you're going to identify your saboteurs. You're going to identify your positive intelligence. You're going to identify, where these things came from. And then you're going to learn how to kill those things. Part two is from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10. And that's where you're going to learn how to create and walk in your sage mind, have those expanded opportunities, increase your positive intelligence, learn how to not only kill the saboteurs, but also how to expand the amount of your brain that you use, the part of your brain that you use, so that you cannot be limited by your reptilian brain that says, hey, stay safe, color in the lines, don't open the door. It said, do not open, So we're talking about how to open up the possibilities. I tell people this, and if you're someone who is a multi-talented entrepreneur or multipreneur, listen, this class is amazing for you, because what it'll do is that it'll expand your thinking so that you can see how all of the things that you're passionate about come together and create something that is your unique value proposition. I'm telling y'all, the game has changed. And this is an opportunity for you to learn how to maximize what's already in you. It's in you. It's there. It's just a matter of seeing how it all goes together, pulling it together, killing those things that would keep you from being great and taking it to the next dimension. I pray that this word blessed you. I pray that you got something out of it. I pray that it encouraged you. I pray that you have discovered something about you. Maybe you learned something that you didn't know. I don't know. Maybe you learned something, okay? But whatever it is, know this. Know that God is absolutely moving and working on your behalf. Listen, if the word blessed you, go ahead. You can sow a seed at Cash App $DRV Walters, Cash App $DRV Walters, or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. Listen, it's seed sowing time, and it's producing a quick harvest. I gave you all a word yesterday, and I said, I think it was yesterday. I think it was, I'm not sure. So I gave you all a word yesterday or the day before yesterday, where I said that literally you were going to see money released to you from places that you didn't expect over the next 3 days. I think that's what I said, over the next 3 days. And literally, I just saw another prophet say something about that. Y'all listen, it's Stop playing with me. Look, you guys, go ahead, sign up for the class. You got Afterpay available. You can pay it in 4 payments. If you can't make the class physically this time, go ahead, purchase your class, and then you can get the recording, and then you can take another class. Look, y'all, we got solutions to your problems. What's your problem? Look, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. I'm getting ready to go to Orange Theory, so I gotta, switch out. So I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah.